The halaqah will start right away, inshallah, and we will finish right before Isha. Because tonight, Isha Iqamah will be 5 minutes after the Azan, inshallah.
Salah nih. Salah. Aku salah lah. Soki, sini. Aku salah nih, aku lagi mau ngaji nih.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Inshallah, we'll begin shortly the continuation of Surah An-Nazi'at. We're going to have a different setup, inshallah, on this setup so that the sisters can see the writing. I'm going to have Dr. Muhammad, he's going to be helping me, inshallah, by writing on the board. So if you can all get in a way where you can see the board. Okay, inshallah. And if we need to push the board back a little bit, we can. If you want to see the writing, inshallah, just try to position yourself where you can see the board, inshallah. Okay. الحمد لله رب العالمين إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Inshallah, the style of the way I do the tafsir, inshallah, this is an advanced tafsir where we dive in and we reflect together. I do encourage each and every one of you, even if you don't speak the language, to take out your phone, go to the Quran app, and go to Surah An-Nazi'at, which is Surah number 79 in the app. And the last time we stopped was on verse 27. That begins with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. أَأَنْتُمْ أَشَدُّ خَلْقًا. 27. Okay, so take out your phone or bring a Quran book and just log in with us, inshallah. So just to recap quickly about this very, very powerful surah. Sometimes the surah starts slow and it starts to build up momentum. This is one of my favorite surahs in terms of emotional power because the momentum was built from the very first verse immediately. وَالنَّازِعَاتِ غَرْقًا. It's an oath. Allah Azza wa Jalla is taking an oath by the Nazi'at, and He even kept what is a Nazi'at hidden. And as we've said in previous halaqas, that some scholars said that an-nazi'at could be horses, some said an-nazi'at could be the wind, and the majority of scholars, and what I lean to, is that an-nazi'at refers to the angels taking out the non-believer's soul and taking out the believer's soul in the second verse. And then after building up this momentum of a series of oaths, now Allah Azza wa Jal brings the picture of the non-believers having a conversation with Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam and denying the resurrection. And then Allah Azza wa Jal goes into the story of Musa alayhi salam with Pharaoh. Last time we were talking about what happened between Musa alayhi salam and Pharaoh, and we stopped after the destruction of Pharaoh and his army. Now Allah Azza wa Jal is going to talk about the bounties and favors that He has done for us. The theme of the surah is someone who's arrogant, someone who does not believe in Allah Azza wa Jal because of arrogance. And the highest arrogant figure in history was Fir'aun. And he was brought as an example. Before we dive into the meanings of this surah, in order to appreciate the beauty of the Quran, there are 6 words that we've covered, only 6 last time, and something similar to them or the same word itself, they're going to be repeated today. So when you have a word in just the same exact surah, repeated again, but in a different way, that brings so much beauty. It brings so much beauty to the language itself as you're studying and reflecting upon the Quran. So we're going to put on this board those 6 words, okay? And Dr. Muhammad is going to write them in Arabic and then the meaning next to them in English, okay? So the first word is tagha. The first word is tagha. If you don't even understand a word of Arabic, you will still be able to enjoy this, okay? Tagha means to transgress. Last month we said Allah Azza wa Jal said to Musa, go to Pharaoh because he has committed the act of tagha. He is a transgressor. So the meaning, transgressed. Someone who exceeded the boundaries of Allah Azza wa Jal. The second word is tazakka. Tazakka. When Musa alayhi salam went to Pharaoh, he told him, do you have any inclination to purify yourself? Tazakka. Last time we said that there is a difference between tazakka, this means to purify, tazakka and tatazakka. This is going to be very important today. You will be able to appreciate the meaning of that today. The difference between tazakka and adding another T, another letter T, tazakka, is that this, do you have any inclination to confess just a little bit of your sins? Would you like to purify yourself just a little bit? Can you, Dr. Muhammad, next to purify, between brackets, a little, put the word little, just little purification. Or small, whatever you want to put. Little, just a little purification. The third word is takhsha. I will guide you to Allah Azza wa Jal. And when you are guided to Allah Azza wa Jal, fear from Allah, from His majesty. When you are guided and you know now, you feel that He's the one behind all of this, what comes inside the heart is something called al-khashya. And that is fear after knowledge. There are many types of fear in the Quran. This type of fear comes when you are knowledgeable. And there is an ayah in the Quran that says that the people of knowledge, al-ulama, هم الذين يخشون الله. They are the ones that fear Allah, because the more knowledge you have, the more khashya you're supposed to have. The fourth word is when Pharaoh did not believe in Musa alayhi salam, what did Musa do? He decided to show him one of the big signs, the stick turning into a staff. So the fourth word is arahu. He showed him. He showed him so he can see. So yara or arahu means to see and something that is shown. Okay? The fifth word, Pharaoh did not believe in the words or the big sign. So he paced back and forth, thinking about what needs to be done. So the fifth word is sa'a. Sa'a. Like when you go to do Umrah and you do the sa'i between Safa and Marwa, you pace back and forth. Back and forth. When Allah Azza wa Jal talks about the believers on the Day of Judgment, He said that the believers will have light coming from their chest, بين أيديهم, and from the right, وبأيمانهم, نورهم, their light, يسعى. The light itself is projecting forward. So as-sa'i means to pace forward, back and forth, okay? The last word is al-a'la. So those are the 6 words that I need you to keep in your head as we go forward into the halaqah tonight, okay? The last word is al-a'la. Al-a'la means the highest. There's no higher than this. Between brackets, brother, put superlative, because you have comparative and superlative. You have alay, which means high, right? You have a'la, which means higher, and you have al-a'la, which means what? The highest. Okay? When we go in ruku', what do we say? Subhana Rabbi, or sujood, what do we say? Subhana Rabbiya al-a'la. I declare the perfection of my Lord, the what? The highest. Pharaoh said, I am your highest Lord. So Allah Azza wa Jal took him and punished him in the dunya and in the afterlife. So those are the 6 words. Now are we ready to go into the class tonight, okay? We stopped at the ayah, أَأَنْتُمْ. Are you? Do you think you are mightier in creation? Ashad. Ashad is a word comes from shidda, something that's tough, something that's mighty, something that's strong. Do you think that you are mightier in creation than the sky? First of all, what happened between the story of Moses and then where this verse starts, the rhyme scheme shifted. The rhyme scheme shifted. Even if you don't speak Arabic, the rhyme scheme shifted from طغى الأعلى تخشى طغى الأعلى تخشى. All of these verses ended like this. Now the rhyme shifts. And in Quran, when the rhyme shifts, it can serve 2 purposes. Pay attention, or the subject is changing. And the subject is changing, and Allah Azza wa Jal wants you to also pay close attention because it's shifting now. Also, this verse is a question. And when you have a verse, Jazakallah khair, I have it right here. They even have like 2 or 3 because they know. You know me. Yes. So right now, the rhyme scheme shifted and it's a question. What happens when Allah Azza wa Jal asks a question in the Quran? What does that do to you and me? It means it's time for you to reflect. It's time for you to do tadabbur. You can even use this question when you are having a discussion with someone who does not believe in Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah Azza wa Jal is giving you a question to even use in your dialogue with someone who's not a believer. And here's the question, it's begging for you to reflect. Are you mightier in creation than the sky? The word for sky here is sama. And the origin of this word is sumu. The word sumu means everything and anything that is above you. So it's begging for reflection and tadabbur. Do you think human beings, ya insan, ya bani Adam, think, do you think logically that you, in creating you, you were tougher and mightier than creating everything that is above you? I mean, look at yourself. You are bound by gravity. You can't do nothing except if you're in a jet or something. But look at how weak you are. You are fixed to this earth. And you think with your gravitational force that you are mightier than everything that is above you. And with all of your technology, you can barely reach 1 or 2 planets before running out of fuel. أأنتم أشد خلقا أم السماء بناها. Banaha means he constructed it. He constructed this. When you construct something, you mesh it and make it seamless. If we were to take this paint off, and if this building is made, I think, out of bricks, you will see that the bricks are meshing together, and it's such a seamless, beautiful looking building. The sky is the same. The sky is the same. It's a beautiful building that is meshed together with no cracks. Now Allah Azza wa Jalla is going to tell us just a bit, just a tiny bit about what does that mean, banaha? What does that mean he constructed it? The next ayah, rafa'a, he elevated, rafa'a samkaha. Rafa'a samkaha. What is a samk? A samk, in math, they call it the third dimension, al-bu'd al-thalith. What does that mean? In math, you have what? The width, and you have the what? The length, right? But if this was a pyramid or a triangle, you have what also? The height or the what? The depth, right? That's a samk. It's the third dimension. So Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying that he constructed the sky, elevated it, and he elevated its what? Its depth. So high up that we don't even know. We cannot possibly even comprehend what's in the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth. All of this is just the first sky, as-sama'u al-ula. You see? رفع سمكها فسواها. The word sawaha, we were exposed to this word in my previous khutbahs. If you've listened, وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا. And the nafs, he balanced it. Sawaha means he leveled it, balanced it to perfection. And the same word comes here now to visit us. He elevated its depth and elevated the sky. Allah Azza wa Jalla is teaching us what he has done in terms of construction to the sky. فَسَوَّاهَا. And he leveled it and balanced it to perfection. وَأَغْطَشَ لَيْلَهَا. What does أَغْطَشَ mean? Layl means night. أغطش means he brought out the night that is so dark that you can't even see. And this, the scholars have referred this to 2 types of night. The night that is general in the universe, like the universe is dark and the night that we experience here on earth. The night has a very interesting story in the Quran. It's mentioned in different surahs, and it's so beautiful. Every surah offers you more beauty about the night. I'm going to give you just one example. وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا عَسْعَسْ. This is in another surah. As'as means to choke. The imagery for that night is that the night came and choked the light and brought darkness. Okay? It choked the morning and brought darkness. And when the sun rises, what takes a breath of relief now? The day. The day now is ready to breathe. وَالصُّبْحِ إِذَا what? تَنَفَّسْ. Do you see the imagery? So Allah Azza wa Jal has given us beautiful imagery about the night in different chapters. In this surah right here, Allah Azza wa Jal says, أَغْطَشَ لَيْلَهَا. Again, everything is relevant to the theme and to the context of the surah that we're talking about. And the theme here is arrogance. The theme here are the non-believers at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, where he's reciting the surah and they are listening to this and they're not believing, even though they are Arabic speakers and they understand the vocabulary and the beautiful imagery far more than we will ever understand. وَأَغْطَشَ لَيْلَهَا. And he made the night so dark. Why would you be so arrogant? If it wasn't for the light that Allah Azza wa Jal has brought to you, you wouldn't even be able to see. وَأَخْرَجَ. And he brought out duhaha. What is ad-duha? Ad-duha is the most brilliant part of the day. The most brightest part of the day is ad-duha. So the contrast here is very beautiful. Akhraja means to bring something out of nothing, or to bring something out that was not there before. If I tell one of the brothers, go out, I will say, ukhruj, go out. And you see this, to bring something out that was not there before, such as in Surah Al-Zalzala, when Allah Azza wa Jal says, when the earth shakes and it brings out from its belly everything that's inside of it, all of the people that are buried inside, and all of the things that it had witnessed. You see, أخرجت الأرض أثقالها. So here the word أخرج means to bring out. And so Allah Azza wa Jal is contrasting between a night that is very, very dark and how He brought out for us the light. And it could have been dark all the way, like the universe. But with His mercy, with His wisdom, we see a little bit of the light and a little bit of the dark. You see? Okay. وَالْأَرْض. And the earth after that, بعد ذلك. وَالْأَرْض. What has He done to the earth? دَحَاهَا. Dahaha means to smooth something out, to balance it, to keep it nice and smooth and leveled, and to actually also make it seamless for the creatures that are living on it. You would think that with modern astronomy and with our study of different planets and how we see the terrain in different planets, that we would gain a sense of appreciation and our faith would get stronger. But it seems that the more advanced we get, the more ethical and morally not good we regress. وَالْأَرْض بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ دَحَاهَا. And the earth, He has smoothed it and leveled it. And now He's going to tell us, just like He told us about as-sama, the sky, He told us that He banaha, He constructed it. And He told us a few things about how He constructed it, how He elevated its depth and height, and how He leveled it and balanced it. Now, what has He done to the earth? أخرج منها. He brought out of this earth its water. ماءها ومرعاها. المرعى is النبات, the grass. Anything and everything that is vegetation for the cattle, for the animals, for us, for all creatures. Okay? Any questions so far? Are we good? Okay. والجبال أرساها. And the mountains. And of course, the mountains is one of my favorite subjects because the mountains are repeated so many times in the Quran in so many different beautiful ways. And here, Allah Azza wa Jal says that the mountains, Allah Azza wa Jal has stabilized the mountains, anchored the mountains, pegged the mountains to act as a form of stability to the earth. And now the favors are done. Allah Azza wa Jal has listed all of the favors. متاعا لكم ولأنعامكم. The word متاع means provisions. One of the things that is a derivative of this word is mut'a, which is pleasure and enjoyment. And so all of these things that I have just mentioned, that I have just created for you, are provisions for you. It's for your enjoyment. And it's for the enjoyment of your an'am. The word an'am means here, it means the cattle that feed off of the earth. And the an'am in the Quran are 8. Okay? The an'am are 8. There are 4 categories, male and female of each one. Okay? Number 1, okay, is lamb. Male and female. And number 2 is al-ma'iz or goat. Male and female. Number 3 is al-ibil, which is camel, male and female. And number 4 is al-baqar, or the cow, male and female. The word an'am also from that word is ni'mah, or a blessing, because there are so many benefits that you can get from all of those. Okay? So the word an'am here includes the categories of 4 different types of animals, the male and female. In total, they are 8. You want me to repeat them again? Lamb and sheep. You know what's the difference between lamb and sheep? Lamb is younger. A year or younger is lamb. More than a year is what? Sheep. So lamb and sheep. And I'm sorry? What difference between goats and sheep? They're 2 different animals. Yeah, two different species. So lamb and sheep. The lamb is the young, a year or younger is called lamb. More than a year is called sheep. Okay, male and female. So that's 2. And then the goat, male and female. And then the camel, male and female. And then the cow, male and female. Okay? All right. Yes? Okay. Who here remembers my favorite conjugations, wa and fa and thumma? We built the foundation for those 3, right? Just tell me the fa. What does the fa do? The sisters always answer. What does the fa do? What's the importance of fa? Yes. Sequence, and how slow or fast? Fast. So when you see the fa, it means something is coming quickly and the sequence is important. At-taqib wa-tartib. Now look at the contrast. Here's the fa coming after I've listed all of those favors, all of those provisions. You are living comfortably in this world. I have made this a comfortable way of living. The terrain is smooth. You have the food, you have the water, you have the animals. The food is for the animals. The sky is beautiful and it's elevated and it's beautiful to look at. Everything is made for your mata', everything is made for your enjoyment. But Allah Azza wa Jal put the letter fa here. The meaning would have been perfect and understandable. Not perfect, but the meaning would have been understandable if Allah Azza wa Jal says, إِذَا جَاءَتْ الطَّامَّةِ, when judgment day or the great calamity comes. When the great calamity comes. But he, purpose, put the letter fa here. Why? Because life is very short. Thank you. Because it's going to be just like that. Just like that. And then all of a sudden, all of this enjoyment is gone. This is what the fa serves here. The fa here, this letter fa, serves as a reminder that after all of this mata', فَإِذَا جَاءَتْ. And then the word إِذَا. The word إِذَا. إِذ, when you're talking about something what in the past. If you're telling a story in the past, إِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ, mention when your Lord told the angels, I am creating Adam. إِذْ, in the past. But إِذَا is something that is going to happen in the future. And when you see إِذَا, it means it's inevitable. It's going to happen for sure. There is no doubt about it. فَإِذَا جاءت. فإذا جاءت. We were exposed to the difference between أتى and جاء, which means to come. Okay? The word أتى is to come, and you're going to come quickly and easy. جاء, there is a delay. There's a delay in this ayah here. Okay? When the great calamity comes, okay, and it comes heavy, الطامة. الطامة means the great calamity. We're going to pause here on this word طامة. The word طامة has an origin from طم. When you take dirt and you fill a well, okay, you are now, this person, طم البئر. It means he covered and filled this well. It's of no use. If there is a flood that's coming, like when the river Nile, before they built the dam, when the flood covers al-wadi, طم al-wadi, it means it flooded everything. So Allah Azza wa Jal is calling Judgment Day, it is the day of the great calamity, that it's such a big calamity to the point that it's going to cover any other musibah, any other calamity you have ever known. At-Tam, the great calamity that will cover everything. This word At-Tam has exaggeration, 6 forms of exaggeration to make it a true calamity to be reckoned with. The first, to appreciate just one word, 6 forms of exaggeration in just one word. The first is the meaning of the word itself. The meaning of the word is that it covers, okay? The second, I'm not going to go too deep, okay? It's not complicated. It's very easy. Just pay a little attention. It's called ismul fa'il, the active participle. Very easy. I'm going to explain it very easy, okay? Kataba means to write. Kataba means to write. Katib, that's the active participle. It's the one who what? Writes. It's the one who what? Writes. Easy? Okay. Talaba means to ask for. Talaba means to ask for something. A student is called what? Talib. Because he's asking for what? For knowledge. Easy? Okay. To keep the order is called yadbutu. To maintain the order, yadbutu. The officer is called what? Dabit. Okay? So now you know what ismul fa'al mean, or the active participle, okay? The one who does something. So now you know that this word is ismul fa'al. Tam, like talib, like katib, the one who writes. So this is the second exaggeration. It's the meaning of the word and the fact of what it's going to do. The third exaggeration, it's ending in the feminine ta. When the word ends in the feminine ta, the last letter of the word, it gives it more strength, such as al-haqqa, at-tamma, as-sakha. All of those words for what's going to happen on Judgment Day, the end is called ta'it-ta'nith. The fourth exaggeration is the alif lam in front of the word. There's a difference when I say phone or kitab or book, and I say al-kitab, the book. This alif lam before a word means the book, the one and only. And so this is al-tam, the great calamity. And then, if you look in the Quran, you will see this symbol, which means it has a med. And then after this symbol is the W, which means it has a shadda, which means this is 6 harakat. The med itself adds to the strength of the word. At-tam. Do you see? 6 harakat. It adds to the strength of the word. And then finally, the adjective that was give and the description of the word that's after at-tam. As if all of this was not enough, Allah Azza wa Jalla calls it what? Al-Kubra. Al-Kubra. And now, we go to the next ayah. Any questions so far? Okay. Yes? Okay. Yes? Huh? Clear? Clear. On this day, now we're going to go to the board. We're ready now to even enjoy the reflection more. Yawma, on this day, the day of this exaggerated calamity, yatadhakkar. Yatadhakkar. Musa alayhi salam went to Pharaoh and he told him what? Would you like to purify yourself just a little bit? And instead of saying zakka, which is full purification, would you like to confess to all of your sins? Allah Azza wa Jal intentionally said only tazakka, not zakka. Ta means full purification, full everything, full everything. Here, Allah Azza wa Jal, on the day of judgment, on the day of the great calamity, you will not be doing yadhakkar. You will not be remembering a little bit, like a little bit with Fir'aun. No, this one has that extra ta. Ya ta zakkar. You will remember what? What? Everything. Ya tadhakkar. It's the full one. So if you want to put the zakka and then if there's space, we can put, yeah. So I want you to make a comparison now. It's in the same exact surah you're reading. Musa went to Pharaoh and told him, would you like just to purify yourself a little bit? flash back to the future before the great calamity comes, and you remember everything that you have done. You see, on the day of judgment, we will remember everything. Now here's more beauty in the Quran coming to you in the same verse. يوم يتذكر, on the day, الإنسان, the human being, will remember every single detail. ما سعى, what he had paced for. Who did سعى before in the same surah? Who paced? Fir'aun. He paced to do what? He paced to do what? To plot, what am I going to do with Musa? Right? And he gathered the magicians, and the magicians, you know the story. So Fir'aun did what? He did sa'i, and we did sa'i, we said, is something that you do between a Safa and Marwa. It's a pace, right? Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying, on the day of judgment, you will have total recall, full recollection. He didn't say of what you have done. He said what you have paced for. Which is more, what you've done or what you have paced for? What do you think? What you've paced for. You know why? Because not only will Pharaoh remember what he has done to Musa and to the magicians and to the Egyptians and to the Israelites and to everything, that the transgression that he has done, he's going to remember how he plotted for the evil. You don't just remember the evil on the day of judgment. You remember how you plotted and manipulated and consulted with your advisors on how to get the magicians and how to compete with Musa. فَحَشَرَ, and he herded the Egyptians, not just gathered, حَشَرَ, he herded them. فَنَادَ, and called out. All of this is full recollection. So do you see now how Allah Azza wa Jalla used the word sa'a with Pharaoh, and then used the same word with how everyone on the day of judgment will remember what you have paced for. That's the beauty of the Quran, to use the same word in two different locations. يوم يتذكر الإنسان ما سعى. وبرزت الجحيم. Burriza means to be made apparent, to be completely and fully in full view. What did Musa do? We come to this word over there. Arahu. When Musa alayhi salam went to Pharaoh and told him, believe in Allah Azza wa Jal, and he said no, he showed him a sign. فَأَرَاهُ الْآيَةُ الْكُبْرى. He showed him a sign. And the verb for showed him is arahu, yara, to see. We're going to take that same word we put on the board, and now وَبُرِّزَتْ, it will be made apparent. What's going to be made apparent? Al-Jahim. What's Al-Jahim? Al-Jahim is a place where you cannot handle the intensity of its heat. Furthermore, when the lion looks at its prey, fixes its eyes on its prey. I got this definition from a book called the Book of Meaning, Al-Ma'ani. جحم الرجل عينيه, when a person opens its eyes and he does not blink. جحم عينيه means you open your eyes and you don't even blink. Hellfire, it's not even blinking. It's so focused on its target of whomever Allah Azza wa Jal decides to be deserving of hellfire. وَبُرِّزَتِ الْجَحِيمِ. And hellfire will be made apparent. لِمَنْ يَرَى. What does لِمَنْ يَرَى mean? لِمَنْ means to everyone who is capable of looking. Everyone who is capable of sight. Believers and non-believers. Everyone. وَبُرِّزَتْ الْجَحِيمِ. To anyone. لِمَنْ يَرَى. To anyone capable of seeing. So if you don't see the signs of Allah, the ayah of Allah, where Musa went to Pharaoh and he gave him multiple ayahs, you have to be able to see the ayah and the signs and the clear signs of Allah in this life now before the one that has her eyes fixed on you comes out to be seen by everyone. Same verb used again. Now Allah Azza wa Jal is going to say, you see this word? Tagha, which means to transgress. Now let's use it again. فَأَمَّا, Allah Azza wa Jal told Musa, go to Pharaoh. He has tagha, he has transgressed, he has exceeded his boundaries. So Allah Azza wa Jal is now saying, is telling a clear warning and a clear glad tiding for the believers. So you've got two coming right now. A warning to the non-believer and glad tidings and bushra to the believers. فَأَمَّا, to the one who tagha, to the one who transgresses in this life, وَآثَرَ, and prefers al-haya, this life, and prefers al-haya ad-dunya. There's a word here, al-a'la. Al-a'la, we said what? The highest. And here's a contrast, ad-dunya. And it's also superlative. Dana means low. Adna means lower. And ad-dunya is the feminine superlative of adna. Al-adna and ad-dunya. You see the contrast? To the one who transgresses, to the one who transgresses and prefers the lowest form of life, which is the one we're living in. But before we go to what's going to happen to him, I need to tell you a little bit about the word athara, because it's a little more than prefer. There's another word to prefer called faddala. Allah Azza wa Jal, faddala, he preferred بعض الرسل, some of the messengers had a stronger, mightier message with a book even and revelation than others. That's faddala. Faddala means you prefer something over something else. When you faddala means you prefer something over something else. But athara, it means that you are fixated. Not only did you prefer this life, that you neglected your duties and you neglected thinking about the afterlife. That's athara. Athara means you preferred it so much that you neglected your salah, you neglected your siyam, you neglected coming to the masjid, you neglected your duties. So it goes in line with tagha. So the person who tagha, the person who transgresses and prefers this life, prefers gathering money, fixated on nothing but this life to the point of neglecting the afterlife, preferred the lowest form of life, فَإِنَّ, indeed, al-jahim, this unbearable place, this relentless place, hiya al-ma'wa. Hellfire is going to be the final resting destination. Al-ma'wa min iwa, al-ma'wa is a final resting place of permanent residence. That's what the word ma'wa means. And for those, now look at the beauty. And for those, we have the word fear here, right? Takhsha on this board, right? Right here. And that's a type of fear based on knowledge. We said al-khashya means fear based on knowledge. Khafa is fear of physical danger. If you see a German shepherd, I used to be afraid of German shepherds, used to. So I use this example. If you see a big dog and you're afraid of dogs, for example, you cannot say akhsha the dog. You have to use the proper Arabic word, which is akhaf. I am afraid for my safety. I'm afraid that this could cause physical harm to me. You see what I mean? For those who fear physical harm to themselves, maqam rabbihi. Maqam is an adverb of time and place. It is the time and place where you will be standing in front of Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah Azza wa Jal did not say, here's the beauty of the reflections that we do here. Allah Azza wa Jal did not say, for those فَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ رَبِّهِ, for those who fear their Lord, for those who fear Allah. He said, for those who fear standing before Allah. Do you see here? You are fearing the mere thought of just standing before Him to discuss your deeds. Ma sa'a, what you've paced for. That's the fear. For those who decided to change their life, for those who decided to make tawbah. This is a glad tiding ayah, by the way. This is something for us. For those who decided to make a change, for those who decided to repent, for those who decided to be righteous. What's Allah calling for? What is Allah and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam really calling for? Inna Allah ya'muru what? What is He ordering us? Ya'muru bil adl. He orders you to be fair. He orders you to be just. Wal ihsan. And He orders you to be good to one another. Wa ita'i dhil qurba. And He orders you to be good to your family. Wa yanha. What is Allah forbidding? Wa yanha anil fahsha. And He's forbidding you to be immoral, indecency. Wal munkar, and evil. Wal baghi, and transgression. That's what Allah wants from us. And so for those who have done a tawbah, for those who made a change in their life, for those who recognized and feared the day and the time. Maqam is an adverb of zarfu zaman wa makan. It's an adverb of place and time. For those who fear the time and the place where they will be standing in front of their Lord. And here's how you do it. Here's how it's done. You want to fear Allah Azza wa Jal? You want to not fear standing before Allah Azza wa Jal? This is what you need to do. وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى. Forbid your nafs, your soul, from falling into senseless desires. That's what needs to be done. What needs to be done is a one-on-one talk What needs to be done is a conversation with the nafs. One of the scholars, so beautiful, he said, Allah Azza wa Jal did not say, and the one who forbids his nafs, nafsuhu, the one who forbids an-nafs, as if the nafs is a separate entity, as if this nafs, the soul, is your enemy. For the one who forbids that nafs and tells it to stop and has a one-on-one conversation and tells this nafs, tells himself, you know what? I'm going to be standing in front of Allah Azza wa Jal, and I need to stop this, and I need to be a better person. I don't need al-hawa. Al-hawa is senseless, useless desires that are not lasting. They're not going to last. Whatever those desires are, it doesn't matter. You cannot, no matter what you do, nothing is everlasting except Jannah, except his paradise. Even if you're on drugs, even if you are addicted to drugs, especially if you're addicted to drugs, you know very well that the high from the drugs is temporary, and then the consequences are severe. You know, heroin addicts, they reach a point where they don't really take the drug for enjoyment anymore. They take the drug just because of the symptoms that they experience before each time they inject. The muscle pain and all of the cramping and all of the symptoms. So no matter what the desire, and I used heroin as an example because it's the ultimate form of pleasure. But no matter what the pleasure is, no matter what you think is a pleasure, no matter what it is, it's temporary. It's never going to last. That's why Allah calls it al-hawa, like air. It flies away. It has no base. So for the person who has a confrontation with his nafs and forbids it and fears standing before Allah Azza wa Jal, glad tidings. فَإِنَّ Indeed, without a doubt, paradise is al-ma'wa, is your final resting place. And it's the same word that was used with the non-believers in hellfire. Their final resting place, and Jannah is our permanent khulud, permanent. May Allah Azza wa Jal make us among those who enter Jannah and make Jannah our ma'wa. Allahumma ameen. And now I open the floor, if we have time, for questions, inshallah. Yes. The mountains becoming like a mirage, the mountains exploding. That's why I told you this is my favorite subject. The mountains exploding. ينسفها ربي نسفا. The mountains becoming nothing but haba'an manthura, like that. The mountains, it feels like the mountains are moving, or it feels like it's a mirage. Those are the things that will happen on Judgment Day. That's not the case now. The mountains now, they serve a purpose. The mountains now, they serve a purpose. In Surah An-Naba, what was the verse for the mountains? Awtada. Al-watad. Al-watad, back in the days when you have a tent, you have to peg the tent. And so pegging the tent to stabilize it, right? To anchor it, to stabilize it. But al-watad, or the peg itself, you know, have you ever gone camping and you put a tent up and you have to put the pegs to stabilize the tent? A peg stabilizes two things. A peg has to stabilize two things. So it stabilizes the tent to the earth. For example, if you're camping and you do the tent, right? So what does the mountain do? What are the two things that the mountain is stabilizing? I said this in Surah An-Naba. Anybody remembers? Anybody? Yes, to keep the balance, but what are they? What happens to create a mountain? The mountain in Surah. I recognize your voice. You see, I told you before, I take my glasses off so that I only see the first row. So if the back rows are giving me this look, I have no idea. But I know who you are. Where have you been? Come on, come on. It's good to hear your voice, brother. Alhamdulillah. It's good to see you, brother. So the mountains are pegs, but they are stabilizing. I said in Surah An-Naba, I went on YouTube for the kids' YouTube. What are the functions of mountains? Why are they so important? And they discovered that the earth is made of tectonic plates. You remember that? The earth is made of tectonic plates. And when the two tectonic plates collide, it forms the mountain. And so the mountains are holding two tectonic plates. And in that video said, if we don't have any mountain, lava would come from in between the tectonic plates and cover the earth in lava. So it's because of the mountains holding the tectonic plates together and anchoring the earth. It doesn't have to be also tectonic plates. Allah Azza wa Jal calls the mountain here arsaha, which means it's not, the description isn't autad here. The description is anchored and pegged and stabilized. Okay? Any more questions, inshallah? Yes, sister. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Is the mic on?
I have a question, but I don't know if you will answer because it's not about the title that you're talking about today.
It's okay. If I don't know the answer, we have Imam Khalid and we have all of the brothers here, and we have my brother over here. So don't hide. So if I don't know the answer, I'll just say I don't know. It's okay.
Oh, since we know that Islam is growing,
Alhamdulillah.
so I want to ask a question about how we can encourage a lot of Muslims that they living with their parents and they decided to convert to Islam, and some of sister or brother they've been kicking out from their parents because they just converted to Islam.
You're talking about a family
Yeah,
where one of the members converted to Islam,
correct.
but the mother or the father
The
are not.
mother and the father, they are not agree that.
And how you can bring them into Islam?
How we can encourage those sister or brother that they've been kicking out with their parents?
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful question. It's a question for any time. And there are
Because
some
this-
people here involved
Yeah,
in
because
da'wah.
this has happened a lot.
Where's brother, he was here right now. He left. He was involved in da'wah. Yeah. Anybody would like to answer that question? Brother over there sitting on the chair with the yellow shirt. What? Oh my goodness. Everyone I call it. Come back. Sister, you don't know what will be the trigger factor behind their hidayah, behind their guidance. For the person who's living in a family where the family members are not Muslims. I was telling the brother here who took the Shahada, were you here during Maghrib prayer when a brother took the Shahada and became a Muslim, brother Ian? And I told him, do you know what the Shahada means? And he said, it's an oath to Allah Azza wa Jal. I said, yes, that is correct, but there is more depth in that meaning. The word shahada means to witness. When you take the shahada, it means you say, I am a witness. You're a witness to what? I am a witness that this world is created by Allah Azza wa Jal. Did you see him create the world? No, I did not. Were you there when he created the sama? No, I was not. Were you there when he created the earth? No, I was not. So it's called shahada qalbiyya. It means I bear witness with my heart and my soul that Allah Azza wa Jal is behind all of this magnificence and all of this glory. What they need to see in you or in that person, they need to see what I've just said. They need to see them as a role model. They need to see them as the witness to everything that Allah Azza wa Jal has created. They need to be the role model. And it's not just for them to see them making the physical motion of prayer. No, they need to see their akhlaq, their manners and their behaviors and how they behave. They need to see, oh wow, Islam did this. This was a person that had a temper. And when he converted or when she converted to Islam, I find her more calm. I find that she speaks less and listens more. She thinks, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. She thinks before engaging. The temper has changed, the mannerisms has changed. She's more smiling, she's a different person. She's a walking, living example of the Quran, and her role model is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his sunnah. Once they see that, you never know. It could be just one act. As far as also encouraging them, maybe bringing them literature from the masjid, encouraging them engaging in good dialogues. You know what I mean? The fact that this person maybe attended this tafsir today and took just one thing, which is the question, the logical question that Allah Azza wa Jal begs of us, and they took that question and gave it to that person and told them, you know, I read in the Quran today, Allah Azza wa Jal is asking, are you mightier in creation than the heavens and the earth? Maybe. You never know which ayah will be the one that triggers them to go into guidance, inshallah.
So much.
Anything else? Any questions about today? I did not finish Surah Al-Nazi'at like I wanted to because of the depth of the things that we went into in the contrast, and I don't want to rush it. Inshallah, next time we only have 3 or 4 ayahs left, and then we start Surah Abasa, inshallah ta'ala. But I want you to understand and just enjoy the beauty of how Allah Azza wa Jalla, did we cover? Yeah, we covered all of them. We saw the contrast. Tagha was used with Musa. How many more minutes I have, brother? We're done? Okay. So we saw tagha used, we saw sa'a used twice, we saw tazakka and tatadhakkar, and the difference between little purification and total recollection. We saw the difference between takhsha and khafa, and we saw the difference between, I can't see, yara and arahu, and al-a'la and ad-dunya. This is the reflection, inshallah. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.